hate this.
There you go.
This meeting is being live streamed. All right, let's try again. Welcome to Ghetto Conversations, the podcast. I just want to, I don't know why y'all, please hold your composure because y'all know this is crazy. Anyway, let me welcome my guest, Dezmon Richardson, Michael Richardson, who is his dad, and Dallas Lewis. I'm trying to get a male perspective or some perspectives. Actually, we are getting generational perspectives on just what's going on in today's society. Let's see if we can get this to work, because a minute ago, y'all probably see that somewhere on YouTube looking stupid. But we're gonna see if it's gonna work out this time. Is it moving with me, y'all?
We're streaming now live.
I know it's streaming live. It was supposed to stream live a few minutes ago. That's what I'm talking about. Now, everybody knows real is real. I think that's what people love about this show, is that I try so hard to keep it real. We can talk, like, is it all right if y'all look at me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, am I just like, not attractive enough? You ain't, you just.
Looking at you on screen.
So, on screen,
Yeah.
just giving, I hear you. So, what I really just wanted to do is just really have one of those good old ghetto conversations that I talk about all the time. I just really want to hear the real deal about how guys feel about some of these things that are going on in today's society. You guys were having an interesting conversation before we started. I'd like for you to introduce yourselves and just give a little bit about who you are, what you do, where you're from, even though they might know. Do it again, because every time it's different. All right, so let's start with Dezmon.
How you doing? I'm Dez. Right now I'm working for Southern Solutions. It's a cleaning company. And I'm from Dallas. Is that it?
I'm Michael Richardson. I work for Dallas Independent School District. I'm a custodian. I have 2 sons. This is my youngest son. I've been with the district for 33 years. Elizabeth Thomas is a good friend of mine. We went to school together, and I've been knowing her a very, very, very long time.
Oh, Lord. Like I'm so old.
Age.
Yeah, it's like making.
Hey, you
But you're making yourself old too,
Yeah,
so it's okay.
yeah,
I like that you're taking accountability with me. That's awesome.
My name is Dallas Lewis. This is my wonderful mother here, if you didn't know. But I'm in the construction industry, construction management. I've been in the industry for about 4 years. Graduated with the architecture and construction science degree. Plan on pursuing another degree here shortly, but we're gonna talk about this because there's some things that are impeding that at the moment. So, but yeah, so that's me. And this time, one son, he's not here. Because he is one. He could talk to you, but you might not want to hear it.
So, yeah, I'm truly making a sacrifice right now because I haven't seen my baby in a minute, and y'all know I'm just smothering him with kisses and all that stuff. But right now, I heard you say something, Dallas, and I'm thinking about your response, Des. Tell me why there's no more else to talk about when it comes to you.
It's just simple. Like, hey, just Dez.
So Des just doesn't do anything else. He just go to.
I mean, pretty much. She just work.
Okay, so what you really for real? I can't believe at your age I'm tripping because of the generation that you in. That's tripping me out. Like, only because I have 3 of those.
Righteous.
Well, actually, I actually have 1 of those, plus a couple of millennials.
Right.
Right.
I mean, I don't do too much.
So is that a change from when you were younger?
Yeah, because like I say, because I'm 32 now, but like I say in my 20s, I was living life. I didn't really care about nothing, just living, having fun. That's what it was about for me. And now it's just, I'm really trying to focus on getting myself together because in partying and all that, it's a lot harder now to get back on track. So that's what I'm working on now, and I don't do too much. I go out every once in a while, but other than that, just work and be at the house. Well, I have my son.
So that's a mentality change with just life, just maturing, just
With everything that's been going on and happening,
okay.
everything's different.
Okay, so that's what I'm trying to get to, the meat of that right there. Michael, tell me something. I heard him say, you know, he's changed from, there was one era and that now he's doing something different. Compared to what you were doing at that age, I mean, his younger self that he talked about, where would you say you had that same mentality?
No, when I raised my two sons, I was young. And a lot of times when you have kids, when you're young, you don't really concentrate on the kids. You concentrate on making money, and you don't have a lot of time for the kids. Kids need time. And when you have kids young, a lot of times it's all about you. When Dezmon was born and he was coming up, it was all about me. And what he saw growing up, he had a two-parent home, he had a mother and a father, but I worked all the time. And then when I wasn't at work, I was into, we call it at church, hedonism. And hedonism is the worship of fun. And he got to see a lot of me working all the time, but he got to see a lot of me having fun. I didn't pour into him as I would if I was an older parent and I had him at an older age. Like I said, when you're young, it's about you. You know, and I got with his mother young, we got married young, and my youth was spent working, and I missed a lot of that. I didn't sow my oats when they were young, so I didn't live a lot of life. So when they were born, I tried to live my life while raising kids and working at the same time.
Oh, I do not mean to interrupt you, but I hear you saying something here. It's very interesting to me that you say, though you felt that responsibility, you felt that obligation to take care of what you had created there in your younger, say your early 20s, whatever. Yes. But what's weird, I guess, is that at the point that you would have been instilling in him that same perspective, you were then sowing your oats. So he didn't grasp that perspective. He saw the fun side.
He saw the fun.
Well,
he saw the fun side. And then they spent a lot of time at home by themselves because I would work 2 and 3 jobs while they were coming up. They had a mother, she would work, but she would work full time, but it was off and on. So when you have 2 people that are together and you develop bills for 2 people, you need 2 people working all the time. When you don't have 2 people working all the time, then that pressure a lot of times, if the man falls on the man or the woman, depends on who is the head of the household and who's doing what they do. I was raised.
That's interesting what you just said.
I was raised with a mother and a father. My father was an alpha male and he was the head. So all I know is men being in charge. When you're dealing with, like my son, his personality is different in the way he has some of my characteristics, but he's not a strong, say, alpha like I am. I'm passive aggressive, meaning I seem soft, but if you're with me one-on-one, the alpha comes out. With him, he's a little different. He's looking for, this is my opinion on him, it might change. He's looking for a leader. He's looking for somebody to follow. I didn't have that in me. I wanted to be first, even though I wasn't as popular. I wanted to be first. I wanted to be the one. Because you went to school with me.
And it depends on which circles you ran in as to whether or not you were popular. Because with us, you were extremely popular. And shy and all, you were popular with the circles where you and I shared.
Okay.
Yeah. And within that group, yes, extremely popular. But then, so that was your element at that time. The thing is, you didn't seek that. That's the difference. And here I hear you saying that your son is looking for a leader, and there's
honestly, I'm not looking for no leader. To me, I'm passive on a lot of stuff. I sit back and chill. I don't want no strife, no none of that. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather for everybody to just have a good time. So I sit back and chill. I don't have to like stand up. Like if it's something pertaining to me, something I want to do, I will go after it. I'm a procrastinator a lot. But as far as looking for somebody to follow, nah. Because I go to the beat of my own path. And I don't just sit around and try to do what everybody else is doing. If I don't feel like doing it, no, I'm not gonna do it. And then a lot of times, you know, I have people who not necessarily just look up to me, but like, how are you, like, with everything that you're doing, it seems like you living a better life than what I'm doing. And I'm out here working hard and doing this, but your life seems so simple. I'm not doing too much. I'm just sitting back, chilling. I don't have to how do I say, I don't have to be out front. You know, I don't have to be in a big crowd or nothing like that. I just sit back and chill.
So Dallas, tell me, how do you, on any of what's been discussed, do you have a different perspective, or what do you think about the compared? And I say compare it.
Well, just listening in on those on the commentary, I feel like it's obviously two different perspectives, but you know, just the only thing that's dissimilar is the mindset. He views it as a passive take on life, and he views it somewhat as a you know, I'm gonna fall back and I'm gonna let someone else lead and follow. Essentially, it's the same thing, but it's easily communicated as glass half full, glass half empty type thing. It's the same thing, it's just two different perspectives. And I think with Dezmon, I think the word that I've been trying to fully define as of late to myself, and that is a very simple word, but it carries so much weight, is the word values. Mm-hmm. And a lot of things in life come back down to what a certain individual values. Mm-hmm. So like from just listening in, Dezmon, a lot of the stuff that, you know, a alpha male may value because of that's what they were shown and that's what they want to personify and everything, he may not value that. He seems like he wants to take more of a simplistic approach to where, you know, the more simple things, the less is more type of perception. That's what he values. So it doesn't take, it's not necessarily falling back and following, but it's, you know, just simplifying, you know, my endeavors and what he simplifying it all.
Here's what I'm hearing in all of y'all is that, and I agree with you, Dallas, and I totally respect, excuse me, and appreciate the difference here because it gets straight to my point. My point is, even with us having such differing opinions, we are able to coexist with all these differing opinions. Dad may feel the way he feels, Dez may feel the way he feels, Dallas may feel the way he feels on the outside looking in, but the root of it is, how do you feel, how do you each individually feel about your own perspective? Does it get you through the day? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And does it work in conjunction with somebody else? Because if it's not working in conjunction with somebody to build society, then you need to step back and think about it. Now, I'm saying that in general, I'm not talking about anybody here. What I am saying, I do hear that, you know, honestly, Des, here's the reason why you're able to take on that perspective, because your father is an alpha male, because your father, and this is not me, I ain't getting at you, because I know you know mama trying to get at me. No, I'm not. No, I'm telling you, because of the way we were raised, mm-hmm. He was gonna do that. He just was going to do that because the generation before us drilled it into us. So he was going to, whether he drilled it into you or not, he was going to make sure you had the benefit of what he learned. Right. And so because he worked the way that he did later on, he felt like, hey, I already got it to a point where I got my house, I got my wife, I got my kids, I got this great job. Hey, it's good, it's on, I'm ready. And then at that point, you might have been ready to receive something, but communication works both ways. And I love that you take accountability for showing your oats when you did, and knowing that there was some reason why, you know, Dezmon might take on a certain perspective, but I truly believe that the reason you're able to take on that perspective is because we spoiled the hell out of y'all. Like we did, because we had switches and curtain rods and extension cords. I'm talking about on us. You hear me? Man. We got them. We got them. So look, hold on, because that's where we learned it from.
No, I said, well,
where you think we learned it from?
Don't incriminate yourself.
Well, let me say this. As far as disciplinary, I was extreme because my father was extreme.
Exactly.
Yeah. Every day I learned behavior. learn behavior. My father whooped me for a lot of different things. I disciplined them a lot. I yelled, I hollered because that's the way that's what I got out of things. And when I say follow, not necessarily, I know you're your own man, but what I'm saying is we can say whatever we want to say, but life shows who you are and what you are. What I'm saying is you get results in life to what you're doing and where your perspective is, okay? Now, one thing I can say about you is that's different. You're very well-mannered, very well-mannered. And both of my sons are very well-mannered.
They are.
And I knew him when he was young, very well-mannered. Both your sons are very well-mannered
Thank you.
young men. And he has not really changed from being a young man, but you have to, when you have to have somebody hard in your life to kind of have you well-mannered. And I'm not saying you were hard.
Oh, yes,
but
you
I'm
are.
saying,
Yes, you
yeah,
are.
I'm trying to-
Saying
I'm
it
skirting
loud.
around it.
There are too many people.
Yeah,
I'm
there's
strong
too many.
rise. Too many people.
I'm skirting around it, but you were no nonsense. You were deliberate, and boys need that strength and that mama crazy in their lives. A lot of times it turns out they are well established as adults as far as dealing with life and things. Because I haven't seen your son since he was a teenager and young, very well mannered, very well groomed. I see him on Facebook from time to time. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that lets me know how he grew up. And your other son, I see them, and you know, they're not mine, but I'm proud of them by the way they turned out.
But so,
You know what
because
I'm saying?
of course, you know,
Not
you
saying
have
it
a right
about
to
my
be.
son.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm you know, I can say this. I don't agree with a lot of the choices he's made in life, but this is what God does. When I'm cussing and fussing about him and the things he's doing that upsets me, God always shows me. Because of my
Same.
spiritual background,
Same.
I was more covered in the mistakes I made
Right.
than him. Now, I tried to get him in church. I took him to church, and I did a lot of things that a father is supposed to do. But another thing is I had to put on me, if I'm gonna be Christ, I need to be Christ at home. I was
This is
Christ at
true.
church, but when I come home, they seen a different.
Mhm.
They grew up with that. They grew up with two sides. There you are. You know, your father's such a good father. Yeah, I was all that. But on the other end, my from working all the time, from being frustrated sometimes in a marriage, it takes on a negative connotation.
It does.
For me, and it's not about me. I'm just not hollering, but I'm just talking.
No,
For me,
no.
in raising your
This
child,
is totally relevant.
when
to
you're
the
raising
whole
your
thing.
child, your kids watch you, and it's human nature to take the easy, wide road. Like he said, he like fun. The narrow road is hard work and concentration. So he seen me, he saw me work 2 or 3 jobs. He knew I was going all the time. He seen that, okay? But he also seen the fun. Which one you want? You want to work hard and have some, or do you want to have fun? Most of the time, you're going to pick what's easy. And you're going to go down the easy, wide road. And you know, I like that. That's fine. That's fine. But still, though, with young men, and you jump in at any time, with young men, when they don't have any guidance, they will look for manhood in different ways. Like, you know, like I said about the cigarette in the ear, then I'm showing you I'm grown. I understand that. Or they'll go out and create a child to say I'm a man because they don't have anything else tangible to put that madness and give that positive vibe of what they need to do in the right direction. So if I make a baby, I'm showing you I'm a man, I'm a mature, not thinking about the results of it when you turn 32. One of the things I tell my kids all the time, you look good right now, but you're going to be her age. You understand what I'm saying? And when you're her age, you don't want to still be struggling and going through the changes of life.
Right.
Because if you don't get stuff straight now,
Right.
you're going to struggle at this age, and it ain't cute.
Yeah.
We got COVID going on. We got all these things going on, and all these things in life that are hard. When you don't have your stuff together, not saying that you don't have your stuff together, but when you're not at a certain point in your life, and it takes hard work to get at a certain. Bad things are going to happen, but you have to work hard and have the strength and be focused on life for when you do turn 45 and 46, life won't overwhelm you.
That is a whole mindset, though, and it's a growth mindset.
Process.
Not only is it something that you have to have, no, I literally mean a growth mindset. You have to have that mindset where, okay, I effed that up. I messed it up, but hey, it ain't the last time I'm gonna mess something up. It wasn't the first time, it ain't gonna be last time, but I can still keep moving. It doesn't impede me being able to still move forward. If you have the idea that Dang, I messed that up. I ain't gonna never have nothing. It ain't gonna never happen. Dang, I'm just gonna
You
give up.
set yourself up for failure.
There are
like that,
two
though.
different mindsets, and you make a choice as to which one you're going to use. Here's the thing. Do you believe it has to do with how you are taught, or is it something you just decide? Is it just a natural occurrence all on its own?
You
Answer
follow-
that I want to ask.
like when you being taught things, it's easy for it to go in one ear and out the other, but it's still in the back of your mind. So as you get older and stuff does happen, you'll think, like, damn, my daddy did tell me that.
Yeah, you start to say,
Damn, I should have listened. Man, if I would have just did this in school like you told me to, I'd be in a better place right now. But you still have to learn on your own. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter what, like you can fall back on that, but you have to learn on your own.
so it sounds to me like
You gotta bump your head.
it's a two-edged sword. It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, because I mean, you got people who were raised right, but yet they are serial
What's
killers.
right?
Oh well, I say as far as from what their parents knew, you know, because we don't know everything, and we're still learning as we get older, and it's always gonna be a process like that. But you have to go your own path.
Are we still growing?
Yeah, that's right. You know it.
I mean, life is about balance. Kind of going back to what you were saying. Sorry if you can't hear me. I'm not. Life is about balance, and going back to what you were saying, like, that's a fear of mine. And not just on the visual aspect, but like I go to the park, and it's a man probably the age of yourself. You know, I see him all the time. I've probably gone like the last 3 weeks. I've probably seen him like 4 or 5 times, and I see him on different areas of the neighborhood where he's running, and he looks great. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's just one aspect of it. But just going back to what I was saying off the record before the podcast, and you were asking me like, do I work out? I try, but going back to your point, you got to get this stuff. You got to get life together now. So you got to have that balance now. I can't just put all my focus in working out and looking good and you know, making money, or you got to set yourself up for the future while handling the present. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about balance, and kind of to comment on what you were talking about, like as far as being taught, you can look at it as in the aspect of being taught something, but I would say more so is you're not ever really taught anything. You really just, it's a strong influence.
Right.
It's always up to you to go left or go right. You can have a good influence or a bad influence, and some people will, you know, equate that to a good teacher or a bad teacher, but it's not their responsibility to teach you. It's all about influence, because it's up to you. And I feel like and in life, and what I'm realizing now, as a parent, is that your parents are teaching you the best of what they know. They are learning as they are parents.
Yeah.
And therefore you have to learn throughout. You don't stop learning.
Right.
It's great to have that. When you have good influences like this, it makes it a little easier to go in the right direction, but it's still up to you. You know what I'm saying? It's only influence. You can't just say, okay, I taught you this has to stick. That's the only way that it's gonna be, because this is what I taught you. This is what you have to know. No, because that human effect is still, you have that choice to, like I said, go left or go right. It's just that influence that you get. And a lot of times the strength of those influences falls back on what you see. Like you said that, you know, yeah, y'all see me at church, but at home it's like you see something different. It's just like anything in life. When you see, okay, I relate it to like gambling. I don't gamble, but I'll use this analogy. You hit a slot machine and you see somebody, you know, they keep pressing the lever or pulling the lever, and they keep hitting. They doing something right, obviously. So that's somebody that you want to learn from, or you want to, you know, get that influence from, because obviously whatever they're doing is leading them in a direction that you want to go towards. You know what I'm saying? But when you see somebody, and all intentions might be, they might have the gambling handbook, but when you see somebody and they keep pulling that lever, and they not getting nothing, you kind of stray away from it. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about influence and what you see and what their choices are getting for them, and whether or not you want to decide to follow that lead despite, the lesson that you've been taught or not,
So even if you make the choice to follow the most influential lead, at some point, something is going to be introduced.
Yeah.
Say like this brand new strand of COVID. Something's going to be introduced that's going to throw a kink in how you're thinking anyway. Because this is like, for a lot of people, this is too heavy. This is the straw that broke the camel's back. Or I could deal with the first one. We did all that. I got a little rest in the beginning, then I got crazy, but we got back to normal. Okay, then we got this Delta thing going. Okay, well, I know me getting vaccinated really ain't gonna make a difference, but I know that there's some exclusion going on because of this vaccination. So I'm gonna go ahead and get it. Now you got this new thing where it's killing people even if you are vaccinated, and now you got a new strain. There are influencers. Which one do you believe? How does that change what you do at home? Does that change scheduling? Does it change finances? How does that change? You know what I'm saying? And as an adult, there are so many things to look at. As a man, if you are the head of a household, what does that do? You know what I'm saying? I only got 2 of those here.
So speaking specifically on COVID and how that.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
I have a lot to say about COVID.
Go for it.
Let's talk about the Delta variant and everything that's going on with COVID. We're influenced by what we see. The TV is on, we see news constantly. Some things they share with us, some things they don't share with us. I don't know if any of you guys have been to a hospital. Until you go to a hospital and you see, now with my church family, a lot of people have passed. I've been to some hospitals, I've been to some ICUs. It is the most horrible thing you ever want to see. We can talk we can talk until our tongues fall on the ground, but until you see it, until you see the sick beds, till you see the nurses, until you see somebody that's a nurse or first responder pass from COVID, and you know that even though they're pushing vaccine, the ones that are dying that I've seen have not had the vaccine. I've had over 12 people I know personally that have died from COVID. Most of them are older. None of them have had the vaccine. Now, we know that people are dying. Some people do have the vaccine and they are dying. But for the most part, the people that have the vaccine, they still get it, but they're not dying. When you go into ICU and you see somebody with trach in their throat, or you see them on a ventilator machine, and they had to learn it first when people were getting sick and they were on a ventilator machine, they were laying people on their backs where your lungs are filling up, and it was hard for them to cover. So what they found out was they started turning people on their stomach. So it's easier for them to breathe with the ventilators. Some people make it out, some people don't. What we have to understand is not political, it's real. People are dying. Yeah. Until you see it, you go back and forth. I wear my mask. I shouldn't wear my mask. I'm political. I don't like to get on my nerves and all this, but when people die, and I work in the school system, people do not understand it. They don't talk about it because, again, certain things I can't say. But let me go with this. It's important that they have the numbers there at the schools. There's reasons behind everything. It's about numbers. Well, one thing that I don't know if you've seen, one person gets sick, and it spreads like wildfire.
It does.
And that's with the students and the staff. Go ahead.
Michael, let me say this. Right, stop right there. Let me say this. There were so many cases of COVID at the school, the last school that I was actually employed as a teacher in. So there were lots of cases, and there were times when we had the entire 5th grade, they had to leave. Speak on it. You know what I'm saying? The whole 5th grade, including teachers, everything had to be gone from the building. They had to be quarantined. I mean, we went through that a couple times. And then the thing is now they're saying schools must report. You have to. Why was that not part of the protocol in the first place? I understand about confidentiality, but you have a pandemic. And you're returning people to school from a pandemic. I'm talking about the first time. And you thought that it was not a wise idea to make sure that people at least knew there was a case. There was some reported, But don't get it twisted. I do know that there were other cases. And again, I can't speak on everything, but again, only because I just started a new job. But now look, I'm very serious when I say this. There are so many different perspectives, but what I caught was what you said was this is not political. And I understand you to mean that to say, and correct me if I'm wrong, I understand you to mean that to say, no matter what your political belief is, people are dying.
Yes.
So whether you believe it's a conspiracy or not, there's no conspiracy beyond the grave. It's gone. You're gone. It's done. So you need to really pay attention to what's happening and decide for yourself. Be influenced by that thing that will save your life and the lives of others around you. And that's just my take on it. Of course, I'm all female in a group of men. What y'all think?
I agree. We have to be, for me, my personal opinion is the mask is not about me, it's about protecting me.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
look healthy and
Absolutely.
well, but I could be carrying it around right now. You don't know. And it's a lot of that. A lot of people are asymptomatic and they're passing it. And it has a lot to do with your immune system and how you've taken care of yourself. And what I'm seeing is a lot of times, if you have any other underlying symptoms, then you're going to have some problems. I have asthma. So that's a strong underlying. So I have to be extremely careful. And I work around kids, different people, because at first I was not going to take the shot. I was not, you know,
but your perspective changed.
Yes, it did.
Something happened to change your perspective.
Kids, and I'm social. So I like to be up in everybody's face. I like to be around. I like to go out and eat. If I'm going to do that and take a chance, it's not about me getting sick. It's about me infecting my son, my parents, my coworkers.
Right.
That is the main thing. If I'm not feeling well, I would have stayed at home because I was around people that were sneezing and they weren't feeling well. And I had to send some people home when you're coughing and sneezing and you still come to work. You know what's going on and you still at work and you coughing and sneezing. Or
I'm laughing because I see that alpha coming in.
Yeah. And I send people home. Yeah, it's there. It's there. I don't mean to, I'll take over.
No, there's nothing wrong with, don't get it twisted.
Yeah. But that's, I'm just opinionated. But again, like your son says, stay positive thinking. He said it at first before we even started. You have to think positive and you have to make right decisions. It's not about us, it's about other people and caring about other human beings.
Absolutely.
So what do you think though? As far as the people in your, what's the general consensus? Because you have.
Man, I was hoping that you weren't even gonna touch on me because I've actually, I'm gonna let you finish your question so I can answer your question.
Okay, so the general consensus. What is the general consensus? I was gonna ask among your peer group. Peer group on that, but what is your take on this vaccine and all of that? What do you think?
I want to answer the first one, like the second one.
Okay.
I want to answer the second one. But I answer the first one. I mean, it's clear as day, millennials or my generation, anybody with my peers, any of y'all, it's very clear that they, unless they're in the medical field, a lot of them are against the vaccine. But not for the same reasons. But most of them, I would say about 90.
Yes.
It's up there.
Yes.
They are against the vaccine, but
why? What do you think is the greatest reason that you hear, the most prevalent?
Being a millennial.
Well, that is definition all in itself. That's what's weird about that generation.
I mean, it's
like y'all
I can name
so
about
many things.
3 different things, but for the most part, it's just the fact of an opportunity to be rebellious, to be honest.
I agree.
But there are legitimately, like, people have, multiple reasons. Like some people, well, I don't know what's in the vaccine. I don't know how it'll affect my body. I don't want to just put something in my body, yada, yada, yada. That's one. Other people are, the conspiracy, just there's so many ways you could approach that as far as the conspiracy theory as to why they don't want to take the vaccine. And then it's some that still don't believe COVID is real after all these deaths. I mean,
you really have to be kidding me.
I'm not kidding you.
Could you ask him a question? Why is it not vaccinated?
Vaccinated.
And I want to hear his answer. Go ahead. I want you to ask.
And you stood all the way there.
Dang.
Go ahead.
This is a setup.
Damn.
I don't see the point.
I don't. Okay.
I don't see the
Talk
point
to
in doing
me.
that.
Talk to me about
Because-
why it's pointless.
I might be able to help
okay,
you out after this, but I'm gonna let you talk first.
As far as going for the flu shot, the point is they putting a virus in your body, right? What is the point of doing that? Because there's a lot of people when they started doing that, they died from the shot.
True.
And the same thing happened with this vaccination. There was a lot of people dying. There was a lot of people having real bad negative side effects.
True.
Like what? So I'm gonna take this vaccine. Now I'm gonna have to be on some more medicine because it messed me up, and I have to pay for that. That don't make sense. Why would you even? And how did you even come up with it this fast? You had a pandemic with AIDS. Didn't come up with nothing for that.
You are one of the conspiracy people.
I'm just saying.
You
It's
are-
it's a lot. It's a lot of stuff. That goes into that.
He got
It's a lot of
the
stuff that
now.
goes into that.
Like, so Des, let me introduce one other thought, and then I'll let you get to what you were about to say, and please follow up with what you were going to say.
Okay.
Um,
You gonna make me answer this question? Huh?
exclusionary though, there are places in this country that are now saying you may not enter unless you can prove that
Right.
you have been fully vaccinated. Now, some of them I've seen there's been action already. They said you can't do that in the restaurants or whatever. However, they're like ballparks, and they're just places where you are not allowed to enter unless you can prove that you've had.
Mhm.
So if it becomes
That's still
exclusionary,
discrimination, though.
well, so wait, so is it really though? Because it becomes exclusionary. If it comes, oh, okay, hold on.
No.
If it becomes exclusionary, as in my child can no longer be educated.
Yeah.
My child can't even go to the water park or anywhere because they've not had it. Everybody else's child, now there's this whole population that is entitled to this, whereas those who have not been vaccinated just won't be because they made the choice to not be vaccinated. You don't make a choice to be Black. You don't make a choice to be gay. Well, kind of you do, but you understand what I'm saying. There are other areas where you don't make a choice. You don't have a choice. It's there, and there is discrimination. But now I'm not making an argument for it. I'm giving you the full argument. Now you have, I can't do this. My child is excluded from this. My child won't have this experience. My child won't know this because they said, the system said, no, you can't do it because you didn't make the choice to be positive for society. That is the going reason. All right. I'm introducing. I'm not telling you that is my, well, hell, it is kind of my take.
It is.
That is my take.
Stand on
Yeah, excuse me. It is my take because, and I was like you. I'm not, and I just was being passive, taking that mess. I don't have no reason. I wasn't even passionate about it. I don't have a reason. I just ain't doing it. I don't care what they saying. I don't want to take no more.
Have you got news?
So here's the thing.
We'll get back to it.
Now let's get back to it.
Yeah.
No. Let's talk about it now. Where I stand, I have to have it. I work with
Oh yeah,
kids.
you work. Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? I work with kids, but not only that, this.
Is it still a choice?
I'm not,
because it won't be for long.
but
anyway,
it is a choice for me.
now-
I can still say there's an incentive
To your
to
point.
DISD people.
Yeah, it starts out as an incentive. but
Right,
goes
and then
back
it
to what you
becomes
said.
exclusionary.
Yeah.
And so because I choose to nip that in the bud,
Yeah.
that's where I stand with it.
Yeah.
It's a must. Not because I'm worried about what it's gonna do to my body, or I'm not worried about how it's gonna interact with my other conditions. None of those are my reasons. My reason is called Carson and Jahari. Those are my reasons.
Mhm.
And I say that because I know where this is headed. I'm watching where it's headed, and it's still run by the system. It's still, but it is for the people though, Dezmon. And that is where I stand. That's what I believe.
With men, and he's a prime example, because he has my DNA, so I understand kind of his mindset. Because when I was his age, a lot of things he does and the way he reacts, I thought at that age the same. And what God does is he shows me a mirror of myself. This is the way you used to think. This is the way your mind was running.
That's a learning. I teaching.
The thing about men, it's this difference between mothers and fathers. He's not going to move until he feels pain. As men, we don't change until he feels pain. Until there's pain added to him, he will not change.
So there is no anticipation of pain that can
No.
force
Until-
him to.
No.
No,
You spoke on the
I love
anticipation.
it.
You
Let
spoke
me
on
say
the
this.
anticipation in there.
Okay, tell them what I
I'm talking
say.
about Jahari and Carson.
Oh, absolutely.
That's
That's
the
the anticipation, Carson and John.
He has the same anticipation, but like, I'm gonna let you finish. Keep going.
As a man, because he has this rebellious nature. Now, what he doesn't know, when children, see, this is your mother. You love your mother, right? You get it. You give it to her. She dies.
All you
Okay,
gotta do is
hold
take a
on.
shot.
Let me finish. Let me finish. You haven't taken it. You give it to her. She dies. You're not gonna have this mentality. See, I don't know how many people he knows that have given it to their parents and had to bury their parents. See, this is real.
And then they were
Talking
okay.
rebellious sounds good. That sounds and look good. But when your mother that you love, that you say you love, is dying and has a ventilator because you've given her something that she didn't have before, and you cut that time is cut. See, I've seen it. Several people crying, and it messes their mind up when they take this disease and give it to their parents. The parents are older.
Yeah, you can fight it.
Yeah, your
They
parents
can't
are
fight.
older, but the same thing until you see that's pain.
Yeah.
That's a minimum. I killed my mother. See, people are living with that.
Yeah.
Young people, until something happens to them, until something happens in his life, and he makes somebody sick and they die from it, or he see it close to him, or he visited a hospital. He ain't going to the hospital. He's not seeing the effects of it. He's talking about what you hear on TV, the news. I'm telling you where his perception is coming from. It's what he's seeing here.
But I'm
No
neurotic
hospital
as hell.
visits.
I'm sorry.
No people.
I'm even there are men I know who are neurotic as hell, and they are about the hey, regardless of what they're seeing in the news, it's what they feel. It's an innate. It's that intuitiveness that they have about what the hell is going to happen to me. You're right. At that point, what is that level of pain? I guess is the next thing I'm saying. Where then is that level of pain? Because for a woman, it gives us, it makes us have anticipatory behavior, right? It makes us exhibit anticipatory behavior where I gotta fix this, and it's not even broken yet.
But you care about you said the first thing you said, and he said was, you're talking about your nephews and your grandkids and your children. That's what you love. Don't you love your grandson?
Of course.
No, would you want to see your grandson sick?
So let's talk about how I've seen that though.
Yeah, what I'm saying is my thing is this, it has an effect on you. I like talking.
Absolutely.
I like talking, but until I feel pain, that's when I'll change. Because men, stubborn by nature. We're stubborn by nature.
That's true.
We're stubborn by nature, and we want to be the head of our life. We think that we are in control of our destiny, when really God is. So you got to I have to bring the spirit as you get older. You have to bring the spiritual aspect of things in life. See, you have to understand we live in a fallen world. It's fallen here. So everything is supposed to go bad. Things are supposed to go wrong because that's the world we live in. But when you have a relationship with God and he gives you more insight, you get past the me and what you see. You go on what we call
Right here.
What's that?
what does it read? I can't see. I still
Read
can't
it.
see.
What did it say?
Tell me what it says.
Be not wise
Be not wise.
in thine own eyes.
That's it.
Fear the Lord.
That's it.
And depart from you.
That's it. That says pretty much everything. But when you're living in the world, you're living in your life, the news is steady blazing. You got all these influences saying that until somebody dies or that you see it continuously, not one person, two, they're dying. People bringing that stuff, what he's saying, and all that sounds good. But when you bring it to your mother and you have to bury it.
Well, let me say this.
Come on, give me your perspective on that.
I'm done with that. Y'all know my perspective on that. But the thing about, another thing that it does bring for me is you have, even though you got this COVID stuff going on, which you got life, you still got other things that have to be handled. You got parenting, but it's based on everything that's going on around you.
Right.
But there are so many of us. I'm thinking about, African Americans, Black people, our perspective. So many of us who are not taking the vaccine. right? That's because of whatever our reasons are. There are higher numbers among Black people than I think any other culture.
No,
However,
Right.
however,
really?
listen, however, there are certain things as a culture that we just jump on bandwagons about anyway, right? Whether it be fitness, whether it be food,
I agree.
whether it be religion, whether it be politics.
I agree.
There are just areas where we just, as African Americans, jump on the bandwagon. And I can say that because I've lived this my entire life. I've watched it. It's always been around me. Here's the thing. We are in a system where we already know, based on this current or recent racial reckoning, supposed, we already know that the system has an issue with us.
Yes.
Why make that issue worse by bucking what we know could be better for everybody? Now, I'm not talking about your personal freedoms, those things that are just inherent rights anyway. I'm not talking about those. I mean, in a system where you are already deemed someone who is really, what you're doing is creating a vacuum for yourself. You're creating a situation where you're going to be the only race or the only culture that is excluded from the world. And this then becomes another argument for the conspiracy theorists.
Well, yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes and no, though, because I have a white coworker who takes the exact same stance. I can show you the text message. I have to talk to him another day and
What's that stance?
That's my body. You know, you trying to force something on my body,
Right?
that I don't. I don't.
But does he feel that way about all vaccines, or does he just feel that way about this one?
I haven't spoken with him about other vaccines.
See, that's my point. As a culture,
but I think it's this.
So as a culture, I kicked the nurse's buttons off her dress, trying to keep from getting vaccinated when I was a kid. They're all vaccines. We've had vaccines for forever. Mm-hmm. There were people who were anti-vaxxers before COVID came along. You get what I'm saying? There were people who already had that mindset that no matter what happened, they weren't going to take the vaccine. Most of them were Caucasian that I knew. Those people were Caucasian. You didn't get your shots when you were little?
Yes.
Why? Why did y'all get the shot?
Because it's law.
But why?
Because it's law.
Because I didn't want to deal. I didn't want to deal with
that.
stuff.
Is law. It is
you wouldn't
law.
be here. You wouldn't be here with your educational status right now.
Law.
It's law.
It's school.
It's law. But you don't go be able to school. It's law.
It is the law. You must be.
Yeah, it's law.
I had because I still have the shot books. That's what he don't know. I got your pink shot books, but I would take him, and I took him to get his shots, and he had to get him shots.
Yeah.
As a man, he can decide which way he want to go or not.
Yeah.
And again, until I talked to him until my tongue falling around, until he goes through something. He's going to have that same mindset. The one thing that he brought back to my remembrance was I told my dad the exact same thing. My dad said, "Why you don't listen to what I tell you when I know I already lived through it? So I got to experience that. I got to go through I got to go through and see for myself." Man, you ignorant. That's what he told me, and
he was through.
And he told me I was ignorant.
Okay, I'm loving this. So parenting. Let's talk about that, Dallas. So I know that you were raised basically by a female mom, predominantly by a female mom. But a female mom, by a female.
Hey, it's 2021.
All right, it is 2021. You're right. But by a female. But how do you think your perspectives are different based on how you were raised? And even how does that impact how you raised Carson?
Want to be a little more specific?
So if okay, let me make it very, very simple. How much does my influence how you raise Carson? I won't be offended. Go ahead.
I'm trying to see exactly how to answer the question, actually. She will be.
Yes,
I'm
ignoring
that. I already know that.
I won't be offended because I've already accepted it.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's good.
Don't call me out.
But
it's not true.
Trying to think specifically. I mean, I guess I have to just go and speak on what I got and how much that trickles down to him. You know, being raised by predominantly by my mother, there's a certain mindset that I adopted. She didn't have that alpha male to do some of those male things. Therefore, a lot of what, you know, this day and age, what we would call gender roles, they were non-existent. And not having gender roles, obviously, I mean, that's mad. You know, when you don't have two, you got one, so everything falls on that one. So that absorption of responsibility and that accountability that you feel and that you have to possess, that trickles down. Well, I would say for me, that trickles down to my son, and that level of balance that you have to have, because you don't have it naturally between male and female. You gotta have that balance within yourself. So that trickles down to the way that I raise my son. I can't just be, you know, full on heavy discipline. I gotta understand both sides of it, because that's how I was raised. I was disciplined by my mother, but I was also nurtured by my mother. And I have to, you know, that's what I saw, and that's what I have to personify, you know. So I don't know if that answers the question.
So she's not on camera. But not you. Come back. Come back. I want him. I want him on camera. Please. That's what I'm asking for. Yes. Y'all missed that altogether.
Well, you asked for it.
So the reason but he ain't gonna stay. She gonna take him back. But the reason I wanted him to join us is because I want people to see. This is, turn him around so he can face the camera. I'm sorry, Mike. So this is called a prodigy. Well, no, he won't be a prodigy. He will be. This is my offspring's offspring, right? This is who Dallas has to make all these decisions for. As a man, I think that you'll do it differently. Do you understand what I'm saying? I don't think that my influence will matter on some things, especially those things where you teach him to be a man. You understand what I'm saying? That's why I said I wouldn't be upset, because I already know Dallas, there are already some things he just don't. He just be like, no, mama, I ain't doing that. He'll ask my advice, but he'll go and do something totally different. He'll be like, yeah, she didn't say what I want her to say. So
it's not that.
I don't think that's the best choice.
It's not that. And I'll go back to the thing that I didn't even want to speak on that.
Okay.
I'm gonna let y'all get offended on my comment on it.
Real though.
Go ahead.
So
We're playing. Okay, so he about to give us a new perspective, or you about to
I mean, it's same perspective.
expound
I just
on.
don't,
Okay.
I mean, it's gonna offend some people, but I'm gonna speak on it. So overall, my
Yeah, I just thought about it.
overall, my take on the vaccine, I have good intentions. And I mean, that's bottom line, that's what it is. I want to look out for the wellness of everyone around me, not just the people that I like that I love and that are near and dear to me, but other people that I don't know that, you know, matter just as much. You know what I'm saying? So I am not vaccinated. I wouldn't necessarily say indifferent about it. But the reason why I'm not vaccinated is because just collecting the facts that I do know. Who's to say I might finally make the decision to go get vaccinated? I guess not tomorrow because it's Sunday, but Monday, who knows? But as I collect the facts, what I do know is that this past week, specifically this past week, my girlfriend and my son tested the week prior. 2 weeks prior, they tested positive for COVID.
The point is they've already quarantined. They're good.
Yeah, they tested positive and they quarantined. And because they tested positive, once I made my place of employment, my job aware of that, I also was forced to quarantine. I tested negative at the beginning. I tested negative. But because they were positive and I lived with them, I had to also quarantine with them. Had to sleep, and we all slept in the same bed. We all inhabited the same apartment for 14 days, probably more. We cleaned as best we can. We took all the precautions that were suggested, but we were in the same space, using the same, toilet, same, tub, same bed. We washed the sheets. We sprayed as much as we could, but we were using the same stuff. I never tested positive the entire time. They were positive. They tested twice during this span and they were still positive, and I was still negative. And then after the fact, I was still negative. My immune system is significantly stronger than most because of the way that I live my life. So that's one thing. One thing that I do know, and going back to that, a lot of people that are heavily affected by COVID, they have underlying health issues. I don't really have any. And I work out a lot. I eat healthier than most, older and younger. So like to say, I wasn't really affected. But I'm not gonna go as far as to say that I'm good, so I don't care about everybody else. I still care about everybody else. And the reason why I'm undecided as far as getting the vaccine is because what's the word I want to use? What is that called? Ironically, so my girlfriend got COVID because she was exposed to COVID. She went out to lunch with her coworkers, and she got COVID from one of her coworkers who tested positive, who received both vaccines. So
tested positive after the vaccine.
After both doses of the vaccine.
So here's where Dezmon is saying, what's the point?
So that I think I'm not a scientist at all. I haven't even done as much research as most, but ultimately what I will say is if you know you don't have a strong immune system, I think it's probably safer for you to go ahead and take that vaccine. But because that's just looking out for the wellness of the people around you. But what I will say is that I'm not sure, to your point, I'm not sure how much of an effect it has on everyone as a mass, But yeah, I mean, I might go ahead and take that vaccine and just, people say they've been getting fevers and stuff on the second one. I might go ahead and just bite that bullet. But my only wavering or trying to decide was like, okay, well, somebody over here took both vaccines, got it, still transmitted it. I haven't taken any vaccines.
Never had it.
Never had it.
Never could transmit it.
People around me that I'm laying in the same bed with, sharing dishes with, honestly, I didn't stop kissing my girlfriend. So, I mean, sorry.
No, it's not. I was joking. It's not, baby.
But negative the entire time. And, I'm sitting at home working from home and everybody calling me to check on me, asking me how you doing. I look like an idiot. Yeah, I just ran, on lunch break. I just ran about 3 miles because I'm at home. I went and lifted, on lunch because, hey, the gym downstairs, I'm fine. I don't have COVID.
So you think it's about the lifestyle. You think it's about if you have lived or have adopted a healthier lifestyle, it will help you.
I'm not gonna say that's the secret potion or that's the solution.
No.
I wouldn't even go as far as to say
everything on this show is all opinion.
Yeah, I wouldn't even go as far as to say that the vaccine is ineffective. I just say that it's not white or black on either thing.
Oh, absolutely.
And if you like to
gray area.
If you like to, you regularly eat your little fried chicken, or you like to, cook everything in butter, and you love dairy, and you eat pork is in every meal, and you living like that, it's probably best for you to go and get the shot. You know what I'm saying? To protect yourself and protect people around you. Because I mean, even the people that don't get the shot, you may feel, a lot of people are asymptomatic, and I want to go back to that. I was not asymptomatic, I was negative. But there are people that are asymptomatic that there's nothing wrong with them, but you can take the stance you want to take, but you're still passing it along to people. You know what I'm saying? So to avoid that, yeah, you might want to take that shot. But as far as me wavering, that's where I've, my thoughts have been like, okay, like I said, no shot, never got it, always been negative versus people. I don't know what her diet is like. I don't know what her exercise regimen is like. I don't know what her family health conditions are like. I don't know any of that, but I know she took the vaccine, both doses, and got it and transmitted it. So yeah, that's my stance.
Well, it's okay. So I tried to go to this a little bit. Let's get past COVID because I think nobody's going to change their mind anyway. I'm not trying to change minds. I'm just trying to talk about it. I do want to ask this: has there been a racial reckoning? Has there actually been a racial reckoning since George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and all the scores of people who have died since then at the hands of police who have been, or at just, racist people? And I'm not afraid to say that. I ain't in your case, so it's okay. But do you think there's actually been a racial reckoning? Has there been an improvement? Can we breathe yet?
No,
No.
not at all.
Uh-oh.
I'm not gonna say not at all. I'm not gonna say yes, but I feel like there's been some movement. Overall, no, I wouldn't say yes.
So we still have a very long way to go.
Absolutely.
Well, here's the thing: the system is still trying to make, it's still systematic. Either way it goes, because I just don't know. I think that it wanes. You know what I'm saying? Like Black lives still matter, but it wanes. When the war wanes, what do? Like, no answers. We don't have anybody that had an opinion about that one.
Well, one thing is this. And I was born in 1965. I feel like it's gotten worse. And I believe strongly in systematic racism, and it's too deep. We're in the South,
so it's never going to change.
Yeah, it will. I think it will change because it has gotten better. Don't get me wrong. It has gotten better in our generation, but the racism is so deep and so systematic, and it's almost a fear of loss of power. I am not losing this power. The way things are benefits me.
Yeah.
And this country was designed to benefit me. You were designed to be labor, period. And it is so deep. It's also, I feel like it's in our minds.
Oh, absolutely.
Systematic racism is so deeply rooted. It's in our mind.
It's embedded in our psyche. That we must, and I won't even go so far as to say a slave mentality, but that we must serve.
Yes.
And here that goes, and I'm just the messenger. There are people who will argue that Christianity has a big part in that. That Christianity has dictated that we just continue to do and do and do, turn the other cheek. We're beyond. We ain't got no more cheeks.
In a sense, I disagree, because a lot of times when people read the Bible has been misinterpreted, strongly misinterpreted.
So, but it's subject to your own interpretation anyway. So you're saying, generally speaking, overall, as a population, we have misinterpreted the Bible.
Well, what I'm saying is we've been, it's a lot of times the Bible has been used for power and control. And when you use Bible for the power and control, it wasn't written for that.
So doesn't it sound like the system though? Didn't you just say this about the system?
Well,
it's the same thing.
If I'm in control of the teaching, if I'm in control of what you read, then it is systematic racism. The Bible is not, in and of itself, it doesn't make you weak. In and of itself, it does not make you weak. But the interpretation of it, or the way I feed it to you, that is a whole different interpretation.
Well, now, see, there is that word that says Study to show thyself approved unto
Yes.
God, a workman that need not be ashamed.
Yes.
Rightly
Dividing
dividing the word of truth. So if you are doing that as a Christian, you're able to discern which things are going to be the
What
ones
else
that
is
God is leading you
discernment.
into. So I'm playing the devil's advocate. None of these are necessarily my perspectives.
Right.
I want to know what, and I know that my listeners want to know, and viewers want to know what in the world, why she got all these fine men on here, what they talking about, what is it going to be? Well, it's going to be something deep that you really need to hear. It's going to be that people have different perspectives on this thing, but generally we all agree we got to keep us safe. Then we got to do something to keep us safe. And at some point, we got to decide whose responsibility that is. I feel like it's an individual responsibility that turns into a corporate responsibility.
I agree. Well spoken.
Yes.
I'm like, as far as it is an individual, but at the same time, if how can I say this? It just goes off of people's perception. Like, and then you can really say, as far as how with race, dealing with that, everything has gotten worse, and it won't never change unless we start learning how to stick together.
Agreed.
Because we
Let
don't
me
do
ask
that
you
no more.
this. It's gotten worse than what? Like, where's your mark? At what point do you start measuring to say it is now worse? This time frame is now worse than this particular time frame. Where you start? Your childhood, your teen years, where you started?
10 years.
Okay.
Me, my cousin Pierre, this is around the time I was on crutches.
Okay.
So we're going to Sonic. Going to Sonic. Walking up there. So I took the sticks off my crutches because it'd be dogs loose. And we're in Mesquite.
Oh, goodness.
So we make it to the parking lot. Police officers swoop in, guns out. Get on the ground. Like, and Pierre, so he's so smart, and he was doing this lawyer thing where, learning to become a lawyer or whatever. So we face down, they yanking the sticks out my back pocket, took his. Pierre said, excuse me, what's the problem? Oh, y'all got these sticks like y'all finna go bust up this gas station. He said, what makes you think that? Not a lot of people like you come around here with sticks and stuff. So Pierre was like, okay, can I get your badge number? Now he telling us to put our face down, don't even look at it. But everybody's at Sonic seeing this. And the thing is, his partner pull up, his gun is out. And they like standing over us, still talking to us. Oh, well, where's your ID? And at this time I was going to Mesquite Academy. And when they got my school ID, I don't know many people like you that go to the school to graduate early. Because I was failing then, and I had to go catch up at Mesquite Academy, and they had to get a chance there where I could graduate early. So this lady, she cried when the police officers they let us go, because she walked up and stayed there until everything was done with. She cried and she prayed for us. And now it was an incident to where I was going to work. I was working at the Galleria. Same thing. Pulled over, guns out. I don't have anything on me. I'm not doing nothing. Well, get out the car. What did you stop me for? I'll tell you about that later. Step out of the car. Okay, want to be compliant. I don't want shit to happen. Get out the car. Now I'm being handcuffed. What am I being handcuffed for? It's for my safety. I don't have anything on me. I'm being cooperative. Yeah, okay. Partner pull up. Gun out. Why does he have his gun out? I'm already handcuffed. After they let me go, I just sat there for the longest. Cried. Like, this, I could have been somebody dead on the news
Mhm. Absolutely.
for nothing.
So
Just
because
because
of
I'm
those
Black.
two experiences being that time in between them and that those experiences being so similar, you feel like nothing has changed.
Not at all.
And you
It's
know-
got worse because now they kill you in public, on camera, on TV. Get off with
This is
it.
true. This is true.
And fear for their lives.
Well, I don't know about getting off with it now.
There's
There,
been one or
Well,
two.
Let me say this.
no, yeah,
Let me say this on getting off with it. Depends on who they are, who their political ties are with.
Mhm.
I don't care how they kill you, what they do. If they have the right political ties and the right people behind them, they will not go to jail. I don't care how they do it and whether it's on camera. If they don't have the backing behind them, I'm talking about the federal judges. We don't live next to federal judges.
right.
We don't live next to prosecutors. We don't. But they have judges, prosecutors, and everybody behind them. And if we don't have somebody with some clout of political, somebody to put pressure on them, they're guaranteed to get off. There are laws that we don't even know about to where they can shoot you and just say you're a threat. Even though they take on the jobs, and you got to understand, look who they're hiring. Most of the police officers they get in the southern states, they get them from outside of southern states. They're police officers for a single reason. If you do your research on police and how it all got started, go back and do research on the police and the way things are. It all started with slave catchers.
Absolutely. That's all police. That's all
But
policing was. It was
Not
created
saying
for
that they're
that
not
purpose.
needed. Don't get it twisted. We need the police, but we don't need we need them to serve instead of profiling us and saying that all Black people are bad. When you created the demons, I'm making demons, but now I want to kill the demons that I created, society has created. Okay.
Your take? You agree with that? I do too.
I create the demons, so now I can kill. I have the right to kill. The Constitution was not written for us. This society and everything is against us. It is not for us. If I'm not a human being and I can think of you as an animal, it's nothing to kill a dog. It's nothing to kill. Okay, I don't want to get on that.
Now you're all right. The only thing is our time. Our time is absolutely gone. And I ran it over with that last question, but I knew we had some ideas on that. You guys, I have thoroughly enjoyed having this conversation with these gentlemen. You guys are some of the best men I know, period. And regardless of what your perspective is, I believe in growth. I believe that all of us have room to grow, and God is going to create and produce that growth. But we got to be ready for it. We got to walk into it, though. So that means we have to be reminded who we are. Always be reminded where we came from, even to the extent of being reminded of who our parents are, what they, how they influence us, and do we make the choice to follow those influences, or do we create our own influences, right? I'm so pleased that y'all thought enough of me to bring yourselves here and do this with me. And just as soon as I can, I'm gonna think of another reason to have y'all back. You might be, by yourselves, each one of you. But I'm gonna think of a reason to bring you back. So that's what I promise not. I'm gonna be technologically right the next time. All right. Thank you guys so much. And yeah, I'm gonna have to get up to do this. If you could pass me that little mouse up there, I could do it. So until the next time, guys, thank you so much for joining us for Ghetto Conversations, the podcast. All right, thank you. Y'all know I ain't got no voice.